What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a bunch of very exciting new One Piece cards. We've basically got a super rare to go and match up with every leader except for Vegapunk, because we looked at Vegapunk on his own yesterday, and we'd already seen Lilith, and we'd looked at the Luffy in yesterday's video. So we're not going to be looking at a Vegapunk super rare, but all the other 5 leaders, we got a good look at the leader, a proper image of the leader, plus an accompanying super rare character. So this makes me very, very happy indeed. So let's go in order here, and let's start off with Monkey D. Dragon. Of course, Monkey D. Dragon was that leader whereby once during your turn, you can move 2 Don from, well, either your leader or characters onto a character. You can move from your leader, but you cannot move to your leader. That's very important. A very nice, interesting card, but we've got a super rare Monkey D. Dragon as well. And what we've got here is an 8-cost, 9,000 power character with Rush. That is very, very good. Rush is very, very good. Very big, powerful character. 9,000 Rush is brilliant. And we've seen this with, for instance, Starter Deck 10 Luffy. When you've got a character which has a lot of natural power and then also has Rush as well, this is a huge advantage. But that's not all the character does. We've also got on play, give 2 rested Don to your leader or one of your characters. That's clearly really good. It's obviously a bit of overlap here with the leader. Now the leader moves the Don, but of course what you can do quite nicely here is play the character to attach the Don and then use the leader to move it, so you can basically use your 2 Don to pay for something, then attach it to a character even though it's rested, and then move it to another character. So you're basically getting 2 uses of rested Don, and yeah, that seems pretty gosh darn good to me. This is one that could have a nice big impact in red decks. Moving over to blue then, what we've got is Boa Hancock. Remember, we've got vanilla leaders in OP-06, and we've actually got 1 leader for every colour, and there's just something about that which I find lovely and appropriate. So Boa Hancock, we did look at the leader the other day, and what we've got with Boa Hancock is you may activate this once per turn during your turn when a character leaves play from one of your abilities. If you have 5 or fewer cards in hand, draw 1 card. So basically, the first time a character leaves play during your turn because of your ability, you get to draw an extra card. Yes, that does sound good. And what we've got is, and I love this, on play, up to one of your opponent's characters other than Monkey D. Luffy cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. I love this because, again, if you've read the manga, watched the anime, this makes perfect sense and I love it. Then place up to one cost or less character to the bottom of its owner's deck, which of course then combos very, very nicely with the leader skill, because of course you've then got one of your characters leaving play from your ability, so you get to draw a card by doing this. So you get one of your little characters off the board, and then you also draw a card, or you get one of your opponent's little characters off the board, and yeah, or you use, this with a blue and black deck and use black cards to lower their cost and get anything off the board. Yes, that means it will work in Sakazuki. I'm not saying you will play this in Sakazuki, but I am saying stopping one of your opponent's characters attacking is good. And I am saying that being able to place a character at the bottom of your owner's deck, well, if you do that to your opponent, when you're using all these black cards to lower cost in the first place, yeah, that could actually quite work. Once again, another super rare, and another one that fits very nicely with the leader. Now, Foxy is one of the ones we saw the other day, and I made it quite clear that I'm not a huge fan of the fact that Foxy is getting a leader before some others, but I do think Foxy is cool, and that part of the manga was very funny, and I enjoyed it greatly. I'm not going to show you a super rare Afro Luffy, I'm sorry, but hopefully in the not too distant future. And what we've got here is purple leader when attacking, Don -3. If you have 3 or more Foxy Pirates characters in play, choose up to 1 each of your opponent's rested leaders and characters, and they do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. Basically, it turns them off for a turn, which is awesome. But we do have ourselves A super rare coming in here as well. We've got ourselves Porsche. And we've got on play, Don -1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may add up to 1 Foxy Pirates card to your hand. And I think you actually could get another Porsche with this if I'm reading this correctly, which is unusual. And then after that, you can play up to 1 4,000 power or less purple character from your hand. So although you can use this to search out Porsche, you cannot use it to chain the character, because you can play a 4,000 power character or less, and this has 5,000 power. That is probably not a coincidence here. It's kind of a generic searcher, but it's a free cost, which makes it expensive for a generic searcher. But then, of course, that's not such a big deal, because you're also getting to play a character for free. And remember, I just told you that what Foxy does here is basically, it gets much better if you've got 3 or more Foxy Pirates on the board. Well, this is going to allow you to search and play Foxy Pirates more easily, and this isn't a coincidence. The lovely folks over at Bandai are deliberately revealing cards that combo very nicely with the appropriate leader. Now, although we don't need a second Rob Lucci leader yet, frankly, we've already got one and there are other leaders we really need. Rob Lucci is one of our top 5 One Piece characters. I'm delighted we are getting a second Rob Lucci leader. And what we've got here is, when attacking, trash the top 2 cards of your deck to give one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn. I'm not a huge fan of it because -1 cost we've got on other leaders, but I do like that you can build up your discard because, of course, that's something that black decks like to do. And now we can get a really good look at the artwork and see that it is very clearly the Devil Fruit form of Rob Lucci that was on an event card, but we hadn't actually seen it on a character or leader card yet, which is weird given how many Rob Lucci cards we'd had. So what have we got from Stussy here? Well, very large character, 9 cost, 9,000 power. You are going to have to go to some effort to get this into play. You've been warned, all right? But it is kind of worth it. Now, you have to trash one of your characters, but then you KO up to one of your opponent's characters. There's nothing else there. I reread this one. I read this the first time. I went and had a look and was like, well, hang on a second. But no, there is absolutely nothing here which says anything in terms of it's got to be this power or below, this cost or below, any of that rubbish. You just get rid of one of your opponent's characters. And obviously, like, if you're playing a CP deck, you're probably going to be playing Spandam. And once Spandam hits the board, like, you can do that thing where you whack a bunch of Don on and then actually use it as an attacker. We saw that a lot at the European Championships last weekend, which I was on the team for and I casted, and it was wonderful. Really good tournament, really fun. But we've seen that, you know, although you can whack, you know, at least 3 Don on here and swing, that's not really what you're going to do. Most of the time with Spandam, you're just going to play it down for drawing or for searching. That's the goal. So you've got a character you're probably going to be playing, which is inbuilt to be trashed with this, and then you get to trash any character and have a 9k on the board ready to swing with. Yeah, this is phenomenal. Now, it's a 9 cost character and there's no counter, so there are downsides here, admittedly. But being able to trash any of your opponent's characters, like they play a big 12k Big Mum, oh no, how am I going to get rid of it? Let's trash it with this. Oh no, they've gone and played that new 12,000 power Kaido. How am I going to get rid of it? With this, I could keep going, but hopefully by now you get the point. This is a kind of thing that takes out those characters that you would otherwise be terribly worried about. I really like this, but I do really want to like the Rob Lucci leader, so maybe I'm just getting overly enthusiastic. And then finishing off, we've got Bonnie. We don't have Kuma in this set, which makes me sad. Leader at least. But we do have Bonnie. And we got the green leader. When your opponent attacks, 1 per turn, pay 1 to rest an opponent's leader or character. And again, there's no up to or less than or any of that rubbish. It is just rest whatever you like. And we got a Basil Hawkins coming in support here. And we've got we've got 6 cost 7,000 power. And if your leader is a supernova leader, then you get blocker. So it's one of those characters that you can't really play it without supernova leader. Like, you can, but it gets significantly weaker. If anybody's wondering then, in addition to Jewelry Bonnie, There are a couple of others we can go for. We got the red-green Law from OP-01, we got the red-green Luffy from OP-01, and then we've got the starter deck Kid. Because obviously we've got to have at least part green leader. So they're actually all from like the very beginning of the game, weirdly. But you can go back to those 3 super early leaders that are green Supernova, or you can go with a new Jewelry Bonnie, and then Basil Hawkins gets blocker. But also, once per turn, if this character is removed from play by one of your opponent's effects, and the wording there basically means if it's KO'd, return to hand, or return to deck, you may rest one of your opponent's characters. And I think it actually reads, rest one of your opponent's characters instead. There is the substitute kanji in there. I'm pretty sure it actually reads, if this character would be removed from play by one of your opponent's effects, rest one of your opponent's characters instead. Which means, of course, you don't leave the field. Your opponent's character gets rested. But here's the thing. Your opponent can just go, fine, not touching that, not worth it. But then if they do that, you got a 7k swinging on the board like every turn. Which is clearly not a perfect situation. So yeah, it is pretty good. If it is instead, and it does seem to be instead, that is really very good. Means your opponent basically has to remove it twice and give up one of their characters, not actually give it up, but rest it, in order to get this off the board. That's kind of hilarious. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I promised you 5 new super rares, 1 to match each leader in the set, other than Vegapunk, who we did yesterday. And I'm pretty sure I have delivered that. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these characters and which of these leaders you're excited about. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.